Shalom. When I went to yeshiva, everybody was the same. Everybody dressed the same. Everybody talked the same. Everybody spoke the same. Everyone even looked the same. And the worst part of it all was that everybody thought the same. And what happened to a person who thought a little bit differently, who wanted to dress a little bit differently, who spoke just a little differently, who wanted to see the world a little differently? Well, they were encouraged to be like everybody else. One of my greatest dilemmas in life was when I chose to go to rabbinic school. I wanted to be a rabbi. I always knew that I wanted to be a rabbi. But as one of my friends told me, every school in the world has an agenda. And the agenda, you just have to find one that's closest to yours, because you're not going to find one that's perfect. You're not going to find one that's exactly like you, but one that is close to you, as close as possible. But then I had a life-changing experience. I went to Yerushalayim, in the old city of Jerusalem, and I came into a small, tiny yeshiva, probably no bigger than our synagogue. And in there I met my master, my teacher, my rabbi, Harav Yaakov Peretz. And over there I noticed something very interesting. Nobody looked the same. Nobody spoke the same. Nobody thought the same. Nobody even dressed the same. And nobody was even encouraged to be the same. There's a story about Rav Kook, the first chief rabbi of Israel, who was visited by a poet who had studied with him back in the day in Yeshiva in Volozhin. And this poet came into his office and started chuckling. And Rav Kook said, "What are you laughing about?" He said, "I see on your wall behind you, I see a picture of both the Vilna Gaon and the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Baal HaTanya, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi. And those two were known in their lifetimes. They were enemies. They were opponents. They fought about everything." He said, "I'm glad to know that at least on your wall they made peace." And Rav Kook said, they didn't just make peace on my wall. They made peace in my heart also. When I came to yeshiva, I saw in Yerushalayim on the same shelf, I saw the books of Rav Kook, the radical Zionist, of Rav Uziel, the natural, organic Zionist, of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the non-Zionist, and of the Satmar Rebbe, the anti-Zionist, all sitting on the same shelf. And we were expected to study all of them, to know all of them, to be familiar with every one of their teachings. The agenda of this yeshiva was to have no agenda. And when I realized that different colors, different personalities, different opinions could be woven into the most beautiful tapestry, my life changed. And I decided to bring that view, that opinion, that understanding of the world here to San Diego with your help. See, every community says they're diverse, because the way people are is that they're diverse. In the words of our rabbis, just like people's faces are not the same, so too their opinions are not the same. If you take a number of people and throw them in a room, you start a community together, everybody's going to be different. Everyone's going to be diverse. But that doesn't always mean that the diversity is embraced. It doesn't always mean that the diversity is loved. Sometimes it just means that he who is different, she who is unlike me, is tolerated and not embraced. Because deep down inside, there is a subconscious agenda. And that agenda is that everybody should be a little more like me. See, this magnificent country that we live in today was founded by people who were fleeing religious persecution. And they therefore founded this country on the values of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And till this day, those values are the backbone of this beautiful nation. At Kehillat Shaar HaShamayim, we found ourselves a number of people who were individualists. We were people who didn't fit the agenda. And we came together because in those places where we wished to be individuals, to be creative, to be a little different, we were asked to conform. We were asked to be one. We were asked to be the same. And therefore the founding agenda, the non-agenda of Kehillat Shaar HaShamayim, is to create a place, to create a world, to create an environment where we don't just tolerate each other's differences, but we embrace each other's differences. That's why our members in San Diego, our live Facebook viewers from all around the United States and Canada, our YouTube subscribers from the coasts of Africa, and you, our dear friends, have all decided to be part of this revolutionary spiritual experience, which is called Kehillat HaShamayim. And that's why I want to tell you the story of these 3 shofarot that are sitting on my table, not just for decoration. We all know that on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippurim, we blow a shofar. But most synagogues have just one shofar, just one kind of shofar. And here you'll find a number of shofarot. This shofar to my right is the original ram's horn. The story of Abraham, our forefather, going to sacrifice his son Yitzchak, and a ram's horn got entangled in the bushes. This is an unpolished, an untouched, a ram's horn in the raw, to create an authentic biblical experience. And in fact, this shofar is the most preferred shofar in many, many Sephardic communities around the world. To my left is probably a shofar you've seen much more often. This shofar is also a ram's horn, just like this ram's horn, but it's been polished. Someone spent hours and hours of touching it, of feeling it, of soaking it, of beautifying it. And in the Ashkenazi communities around the world, even though this might not be a shofar in the rough, it might not be the original, but this is the most beautiful shofar. This is a shofar that someone put effort to make more beautiful. The shofar that you see in front of me, in fact, is not really a shofar at all, not according to the biblical narrative, but it follows the opinion of Rabbi Yosef Karo, Maran in the Shulchan Aruch, who says all the shofarot are kosher. Every shofar, as long as it comes from an animal that has a horn, is kosher. And in Yemen, in fact, this shofar was used because it was a very popular animal. It's called a kudu shofar. And each one of these shofarot make a different sound. This one, the sound is a little bit bolder, a little bit richer. It brings you back to days that were much more biblical. This shofar squeaks a little bit. It makes a slight, more soft, a more gentle sound. And this can remind you of a shtetl somewhere in Europe back in the day. And when you hear this shofar in front of me, those final shofar blasts on Yom Kippurim, and the whole room begins to shake. Perhaps this was a shofar that was blown on Mount Sinai, but definitely in the deserts of Yemen, these shofarot were raised up to our Father in heaven. And here at Kehillat HaShamayim, we don't just blow one shofar. We blow all 3 shofarot to drive home 2 very important messages. The first lesson, the first teaching, the basis of our community is that there will never be an opinion that is hidden from you. There will never be an approach that we don't want you to know about. We will explain everything from the Rambam to the Ashkenazim and the Ramah to Rabbi Yosef Karo in front of me. Every person who walks through our doors will not just get a spiritual experience, but an intellectual experience, and what we like to call at Kehillat HaShamayim, intellectual spirituality, something that only we offer here. And the last lesson is that regardless of which shofar you are, regardless of which sound you make, regardless of which country you come from, of which background you hail, you have a place in Kehillat HaShamayim. You belong in Kehillat HaShamayim. Because for us, you are accepted. For us, you are loved. By us, you are embraced. And to us, every single one of you are absolutely kosher. And here, I'm left just to blow you away with an appeal like a shofar. Our rabbis teach us, Im en kemach en Torah, Im en Torah en kemach. If there is no flour, there cannot be Torah. We have Torah here. We have spirituality here. We have growth here. But without sustenance, we're not able to continue doing our holy mission. Rabbanit Devorah and I began this community together with you in order to make a difference. And thank God, a year and a half later, we have made a tremendous difference. The impact is incredible. And we need your help. We need you on board. We want you to be one of our shofarot as well. If this message speaks to you, if you've ever partaken from one of our study sessions together, if you've ever sat inside of the humble abode of Kehillat HaShamayim and sang your heart out to Hashem, if you've ever danced with us, if you've ever rejoiced with us, I ask you to please log on right now to www.kshsd.org. That's Kehillat, Shaar, HaShamayim, San Diego.org, and click the donate button on your left-hand side. This Shana Tova, this new year, we can do together with you. This new year, we can make an even greater difference. This new year, you can put together your tax-deductible donation. No size matters. Everything is good. Every kind of shofar is good by us. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too humble. Everything helps. everything goes a long way. And I want to wish you the sweetest, the healthiest, the happiest New Year, because together with you, we can change the world. I wish you a Shana Tova. And in the words of the famous poet, Tichle Shana v'kiloteha, may this year and all of its curses end. Tachel Shana u'virchoteha, and may this year and all of its blessings begin right away, right now. Shana Tova.